Hello, everyone. Welcome to Bluebird Adventure. Today, we'll talk about restaurants in Alaska. Given the high cost of the logistics, almost everything is expensive in Alaska. So, what's our suggestion on restaurants in Alaska? Dine at the best restaurant and enjoy it. Since everything is so expensive already, naturally, a lot of people will try to save a little bit of money on food in Alaska. Well, to me, it does not make sense. For a family trip to Alaska, it's an easy 10 to 30,000 US dollar trip. And Alaska is not some place you come very often. Take myself as an example. I really love Alaska, and the last time I've been here was 2002, 19 years ago. Next time to go there, maybe another 10 years. The correct mentality is to treasure every minute, every meal here in Alaska. You don't want to go cheap and eat fast food in Alaska. Where should we go? What shall we eat? If you like seafood and have no allergy, eat seafood. Normally, seafood is the most expensive type of food. Alaska is where the famous seafood come from. Halibut, king salmon, king crab, you name it. So the seafood here is relatively less expensive comparing to other food. So now we know we want to dine at the best seafood restaurants in Alaska. What are they? We'll list some of the jewels we discovered during the 12-day stay in Alaska. Hope you can enjoy it when you have a chance. Southside Bistro, Anchorage. Make a reservation. Please make a reservation. Usually they're fully booked. We are really lucky when we called after hiking, they still have one table open. The type of raw oysters they provided was a rare species, long and deep pocket, and were so fresh and sweet. Chef Jens is so friendly. He came out and talked to us. He understood that the key to good food start with good resources. The oysters and the fish here are fresh, juicy, crisp, subtle, rich, and sweet. The steaks are amazing as well, and the environment is very high end. They didn't overcook or over engineer any seafood. Second recommendation, AK Fish Fryers in Hammer. No question asked, AK Fish Fryer is the best fish and chips in the world. Normally, fish and chip reminds us of British fast food. However, the AK Fish Fryer surprised us. Their fish is tender, juicy, and full of flavor. The battered breading is also crisp and well engineered. Their French fries are also full of flavor. No need for any dipping sauce. This place completely changed my perception of fish and chips. They ran out of halibut the first evening we arrived in Hammer because they use fresh fish every day. We had to wait until the second day to try the fried halibut. In addition, this is not a restaurant, they're just a street food, a small food stand with two people operating, and they only accept cash. If you ever have a chance to come to Hammer, whether you like fish or chip or not, try AK Fish Fryers. Their fish soup is actually really good as well. Actually, Arthur tried other fish and chips in every possible restaurant in different cities in Alaska during the whole trip, and none of them is close to what AK Fish Fryers can offer. After you finish AK Fryers, you walk across the street to Carmen's Gelato in Hammer, Alaska. Their waffle cone is so crisp and fresh. Only real pistachio, fresh strawberries, and mango are used to make their ice cream. The best of the best is they open until 11 p.m. every day. At Hammer, you can eat a full dinner in a sit-down restaurant, skip the dessert, and come to Carmen's to order a flavor of gelato you love. In summertime Alaska, it never goes dark. Shifting our city to Fairbanks now. Believe it or not, there are a few Korean barbecue restaurants in such a remote city as Fairbanks. And the one we went to is called Seoulgate. It's a restaurant in the basement. There's also another restaurant next door called Seoul Sushi, owned by the same owners. They serve all-you-can-eat sushi and includes instant noodle soup called the ramen soup. Cheap but delicious, perfect for Asian stomach. After eating American food for a whole week, our bodies are screaming for Asian food and spicy food. The Korean restaurant was actually quite genuine. The food in the restaurant is slightly different from regular Korean restaurant. The sundubu soup pot was giant. We barely finished it. After that dinner, we had to take a walk before we can fit into the small Corolla. After sushi or Korean food, you probably need some dessert. And one of the most recommended ice cream place in Fairbanks is called Hot Lips. We love the logo, we love the ice cream, and it's a must-have if you want to try out ice cream in Fairbanks, Alaska in the hot summer. Downtown Fairbanks, it's a hot day. We did some hiking this morning, 2 trails. Now we're having ice cream, and then we're going to Shana Hot Springs to do some hot bath.
One.
The self-serve is really good. The waffle cones are really good. And the peppermint with Oreo. Next, we're shifting to Cooper Landing. Cooper Landing is a place close to nowhere. It's an hour from Seward, and the river nearby is famous for fishing. We slept in Cooper Landing for 2 nights because everything in Seward was fully booked. After a whole day of driving and bear wheeling, we found this Kingfish Roadhouse restaurant. We didn't expect too much from a restaurant in such a rural area. To our surprise, this place not only had a 40-minute of wait time, but also top-notch food, much better than most of the regular restaurants that we had dined in Alaska. I believe it's probably Michelin 3 qualified in terms of materials and service and food itself. We realized that quite a few high-quality chefs live in Alaska and they don't want to move anywhere else. They stay in such a remote place because they love the life here, and they love the fresh fish they can catch from the river every day. Hi, we're at McKinley Quickside Cafe. We were here 19 years ago, and it hasn't changed. The size of the cafe didn't change at all, and the food is as delicious as ever. Strongly recommend the halibut, whether it's a fish taco or the entree, is delicious. And the staff is as friendly as ever as well. Totally worth a visit. 5 minutes drive from Denali. Another hidden jewel in Denali is the Perch. They're nowhere to be seen along the highway. Originally, we tried to book restaurant 229, but they were fully sold out for a whole week. And they recommended Perch to us, so we booked a table at the Perch. This restaurant is a remodeled house with only less than 10 tables inside. You never judge a restaurant based on its location or size. A lot of Michelin restaurants actually locate in very unpretentious places. We were so impressed by freshness and vegetables here. They seem to know their trade really well. They put fresh veggies in almost all their dishes. I was almost in tears because these fresh veggies, it's somewhere nowhere in the middle of Alaska, and you can enjoy the freshest vegetable you can ever get in the whole wide world. Homegrown. When you take a bite of it, you actually feel the effort. You feel the wholeheartedly delicacy the host put into. Another cuisine place in Denali area is the Overlook. Best way to get a seat here is to show up at 5 p.m. Get a balcony seat for the mountain view. The steak here is juicy and tender. The grilled halibut we ordered was a little bit overcooked and dry. Strongly recommend the steak and the yakitori. They have good draft beers, friendly staff. The waiter is Italian origin, living in Chicago, whose family owned an Italian bakery in Chicago. We were watching Euro Champion games when we dined there and had a very hearty conversation with the waiter. Our salad has arrived. This is a crab salad. It looks amazing, actually. This is the yakitori. Yak is actually another word for cow or beef or ox. Oh, how many words for cows do we have in English? And that's a house salad. Amazing. Catch of the day. Alaskan halibut grilled. This is halibut fried and chips, and this is a ribeye. Amazing. We love them. The best restaurant in Denali is 229 Parks Restaurant and Tavern. We went there but didn't dine there. They were fully sold out a week in advance. It's said to be the best restaurant here. So if you plan your trip ahead, strongly recommend that you make a reservation for this restaurant. The servers at this restaurant recommended McKinley Quickside Cafe and the Perch. So they do have great taste.